I looked at the comparisons between municipal policing and what I was seeing in First Nation policing. I realized that there was a lot of inequities in terms of funding, equipment, recruitment, and retention. But what I also noticed was that there was a huge commitment from officers and staff members and dedication to the communities that they come from. Someone had to fight for that.
The Indigenous Police Chiefs of Ontario was formed in August of 2019, bringing together the chiefs of police from 9 self-administered Ontario Indigenous police services.
They quickly realized that we all have the same issues, we all have the same problems, so maybe we can tackle these issues and these problems together.
We felt that if we brought our voices together, that we would accomplish a whole lot more.
And ultimately provide the service of adequate and effective policing to the 86 First Nation communities that are served.
They're approaching it in a united body format. And functionally, that's power. That's opportunity.
You're stronger when you're united. By forming this association, it's like we're banded together and we're able to advocate better for each other.
So one's not getting less than the other. We're all being treated equally.
Governments always pitted us against each other, tell us to not share what we were getting with the other Indigenous services. And now it's a completely different scenario.
I've policed in 2 different provinces in Canada, and I've never seen the progress that IPCO is doing with the First Nation police services in this province.
IPCO was successful in bringing our officers' pension to parity with our provincial counterparts.
That's a big one. They would have an 80 factor, but the Indigenous officers had a 90 factor, so they had to work longer.
So pushing for better pensions helps with recruitment and retention of officers and staff members.
We're actually getting more and more applicants from other police services that have left our services for a better pension, as an example, now coming back.
To be staffed properly, to be paid properly, that's always been a challenge. We had 8 officers. I'm now at 17, and I get 3 more in April, so I'll be at 20. You know, our people there are just like, they can't believe it that this has happened.
The biggest challenge is our distance. Many times we only have 2 officers working at a time, trying to cover hundreds of square kilometers.
Those police officers are many times possibly responding to a fire, possibly providing medical care. The integration of that fire piece and that first response piece has been identified as an important role for IPCO.
We're a few years ahead of what your experience is here. How does emergency management play a role into policing? We're more than willing to share our experiences and hopefully allowing them to learn from our mistakes.
In the past, it's been stalled. So IPCO is coming in and they're going to make sure that the projects get done. I'm getting grant money to do training for evacuation support specialists in their communities. So they'll be trained to get everyone out safely and in an efficient manner.
Other services, non-Indigenous, are reaching out to us and asking, well, how did you do that? Where did you get the funding for that?
We have that unique understanding of our organization's needs, our community needs, where we are now and where we need to be and what our community needs to get there.
We're not settling and we're not signing discriminatory agreements that are only going to hurt our communities.
We have one goal and we work towards it, and everybody is committed.
We're sticking by each other, and most recently we've had to launch human rights complaints for adequate funding, especially for Treaty 3, UCCM, and the Initiative at Police Services.
To receive the funding that they deserve. So to be part of that is incredible and is actually historic.
And not only looking at it at a provincial level, but magnifying it to understand that your successes here will create larger successes in the national and international communities. There will be fights over resources. At the end of the day, it's an advocacy that we have to make because it's what our progenitors, those that came before us, would expect of us.
We're always taught that we have to look at the next 7 generations coming after us. So we want to ensure that our youth are healthy, they're safe, the community's safe.
To impact tomorrow, you have to make decisions today. You can't keep waiting for something to happen. You have to make it happen yourself.
The best way to know the future.
The best way to know the future.
The best way to know the future is to create it now.
Is to create it now.
Is to create it now.
We've been below for over 3 decades. And our goal is to ultimately not just reach that equality, but to be way above it, and to ensure that we are offering a product to our communities that everyone is going to want to be a part of. And it is incredible to stand alongside my brothers and sisters in IPCO and know that we are making a difference and we are changing the face of First Nation policing presently and in the future.